You're listening to the Social U podcast, sponsored by Social University. Be sure to follow us on our socials listed in the show notes. Now, let's dive in.
I'm Becky Johnson.
And I'm Laura Black. Welcome to the Social U podcast.
Today, we wanted to give you an inside look at a day in the life of a social media manager. So in case you are considering this super glamorous career, you know what you're getting into.
I love that.
So glamorous.
Right?
I'm in a ball cap and a Demon Slayer t-shirt right now because of the amount of glamour that comes with this job.
I mean, it is what you make it. And you can wear chacos or you can wear slippers. You can wear whatever you want. It's great.
I would literally wear a ball gown while I do my work.
You should try that sometime. Put on the Bridgerton look and go. They always say dress for success or whatever, you know. There is a lady online. I'm trying to remember her name. Something Fairy. I don't remember. Anyway, she is all about cleaning and getting your home organized and all these things, which, you know, when you're working full time and you're a mom and you're trying to do all these things, trying to keep all the plates spinning. But her first thing, and it's every day, and it's like, if you can only do this, just do it. Get up, make your bed, put your clothes on and tie your shoes. Like put on shoes that have laces and tie them and be ready for the day because you'll get more done if you have that on. I don't know. Thankfully, we don't have to have shoes.
And if I'm wearing shoes, I am 100% going to be in Crocs. Hashtag not sponsored, but would love to be. I have the Lisa Frank Rainbow Unicorn Croc.
Yes.
I have the bright orange Naruto Crocs that have a light up Kurama on them. So like when I stomp, my shoes light up like little kids' shoes.
I mean, why not be fun? Well, your feet are small enough. You can wear the kid one.
I have to wear the kid ones. They're the only ones that'll fit me. If I'm going to wear Crocs, I'm at least going to wear Crocs that suit my personality.
Why not have a little fun? Love it. That's great. I have on sandals right now because I got to hit the ground running when we're done. It's the last week of school. We got lots going on. So I'm going to say goodbye and hit the ground running.
Speaking of it being the last week of school, part of my day in the life, since I work from home and my husband does not work from home, is going to pick up sick kids when the school calls me because I have a ton of kids and somebody is generally always sick. So today at 10 a.m., I had to go pick up my fourth grader from school because he had a fever. And that's just a day in the life.
And every day is different. It depends on the day. So I feel that for sure. Like my kids ride, her car's broken down right now. So now we're trying to pinch hit, getting them to school. I'm really tempted to just make them ride the bus, which probably what I should do. But anyway, I'm trying to be that nice mom and rearrange my day, which is as part of a social media manager, especially a remote one and a contract one, we can kind of work whenever we want to. So if I have that unexpected thing crop up, then I'm good to go. I can just run and do it, which is so very nice.
And one of my favorite things about being a social media manager is I get to sleep in. So a day in my life doesn't start until 9 a.m. My husband leaves the house before I even wake up. So
how do your kids get to school?
I have a 19-year-old daughter that goes to bed at 8:30 at night, like a little grandma, and gets up and gets them ready for me and puts them on the bus.
That's amazing. That's so wonderful. What a blessing that is to you, I'm sure. And she sounds like a sweet girl. I get up and make sure my 15-year-old has set his alarm to get up and then go on from there. After I get all of the people out the door, usually I just want a hot minute with my hot coffee. And I like to sit down and look at my calendar and kind of see, okay, what's on the docket for today. And I try actually at the beginning of the week to plan out my week just a little bit, or at least get it all written on it. I still have a paper calendar. I have an electronic one too that I share with my family just so I know where everybody is. But I spread it all out on my paper calendar and it helps me tremendously because I'm one of those guilty of squirrel, So I get my planner going and see what I can come up with for the day and what's the best way to hit it.
I've always wanted to be a planner person, and every year I buy a super nice planner and end up not using it at all. And I have found for me, the best thing to do is I just keep a running to-do list in the Notes app on my phone.
Yeah.
And I will get it out at the beginning of the day and kind of prioritize and see what needs to be done first, what can wait, what things I can offload to somebody else that might be looking for hours. And from my running to-do list, I make my what I'm doing today to-do list. And I check my email probably every other hour. So every couple of hours, I'm checking my email.
And I check my email a lot too. And I know the people who are professional time organizers say don't do that. But I have a hard time not, because I feel like as a social media manager, things come in sometimes quickly that people need. And I'd rather them email me than text me. Also, if they've had a last minute change, I don't want to change what I'm doing twice for them. So I've found that it makes me more productive. But yeah, I think a social media manager, it's hard to step back from that email and only do twice a day.
Yeah, it's twofold for me. One, things are going to come in that are going to be time sensitive. And two, I am a little bit OCD about my inbox. I don't like to have a lot of messages. And if I let it go longer than 2 hours, I'll have 30 new messages, and that just gives me anxiety. So for my peace of mind, I like to check it every couple of hours.
Well, I laugh and laugh and laugh when you guys keep saying that I'm the organized one. And I haven't heard that in a while, which is probably good, because you would probably have a heart attack if you looked at my inbox. I do try to weed it out occasionally, but I'm not good at filing things. And I am in my file of pictures and graphics and all those things that we do for clients. That is super organized. But my email is the one place I just say, you know what, I'll get to it later, or I'll have to sit down one day for a couple of hours and like really go through that thing.
I have so many folders where I file everything. And so mine is really organized, but the problem is I keep everything. So after a year of filing all these things and keeping everything, I have so much stuff saved that I do not need. And then I get those annoying messages about how I'm running out of space because I've got thousands of emails that are really unimportant that are sitting in my email. But I never want to have a situation where I need information from an email and I don't have it.
Agree.
I keep them for the just in case.
I do that too. And I really only delete the junk ones or the promos, or sometimes I go through and go, I haven't read this email in, 18 months, this subscription, let me get off of that. But as far as important things for client and for work, I really don't want to not have that information. And I hate buying more storage, but I've done it.
Same.
Yeah.
One of the things I have to do every day too is decide whether I need makeup and my hair done. Some days we record and some days we don't record. Some days we will record this podcast with video. Some days we make TikToks. Some days we make B-roll. And on those days, I want to have my hair and my makeup done so that I don't scare the children that may see these videos that we put out.
We can plan her that way, our week that way too. On Tuesdays, we don't need makeup. On Thursdays, we do.
Right. Right now, Wednesdays, for the people that are local, is an office day. And for the people that are not local, it is a StreamYard day where we are virtual. And I feel like those are really good days to have on the makeup and the hair because we're all together. And if we need anything, then we can look presentable.
That's right. I also try to schedule client meetings on Tuesdays because that's when I routinely have a few monthly meetings. So if it's a Tuesday, then I know I'm going to look good and I can wipe it all out at the same time. No harm, no foul. So anyway, after I do all those things, getting the business out of the way, the planning and the checking and all of that, I usually tend to start jumping in with graphics. My brain is fresher and I just want to get done things that I know I need to be a little sharper for. And I tend to mix in my captions while I'm making graphics. Like we use Asana to organize a lot and I like being able to see it all out there, but I also like throwing that graphic in there and going ahead and putting my caption in there so that I know I can move to the next thing. So that's probably what I do next is I move on to getting some of that big content creation out of the way. So not that I don't do it other times of the day too, but that's probably my next natural thing I do.
I don't do as much actual social media management as I used to. I do a lot more admin, behind the scenes type stuff. I will still do video editing and blogs and things like that, but I don't really do the day-to-day content creation. But what I have found is I like to early in the morning do the things that are either the hardest or the things that I enjoy the least. One of the things I do is build landing pages for our funnels. And that's one of the more technical things I do. So I like to do that early while my husband is at work and my kids are at school, and I can really concentrate. And then if I'm doing graphics, it's usually for like a slideshow presentation for a training. And I will literally do those after everyone goes to bed at night, starting at like 10:30 p.m. And I'll do graphics for those things from like 10:30 p.m. till midnight.
But you're a night owl.
Hence the sleeping in till 9 in the morning.
It's all a trade-off. That totally makes sense. And I love what you said about getting the hardest thing out of the way or the thing you dread the most. That reminds me of, I've heard it before, but recently our buddy Lisa Shook said in a presentation she gave to eat the frog, just eat the frog. You cure that worst thing first, and then everything else is so much better after that. And that's so true. And I'm bad to do the little things, be like, oh, well, I can cross that off and do it really fast. And then my list is only this big thing I've been avoiding all day, like this big video I have to make for somebody. And I'm stressing myself out about it. But if I would eat that dumb frog first, I would be in a lot better mental shape and productivity wise too.
The way that you do it would make Dave Ramsey proud. For those that don't know, he's the financial planner guy. He says when you're trying to get rid of debt, to pay off all the small ones first so that you have the momentum of I paid this off, I paid this off, I paid this off, and bigger ones for the end so that you have less debt.
That might be what I'm thinking, because I follow their Facebook group. I haven't officially done the Dave Ramsey thing, but I think there's some goodness to it. And I follow their group on Facebook, and it's so interesting. I just like to see how people tackle challenges like that. And you're so right. That's exactly what I do.
If you only have one thing left, it's a lot less daunting, even if it's the big thing. One of the things that I do in my day in the life several times a day is talk to Karen on the phone. And Karen should feel really special because literally there are two people I answer the phone for, my husband and Karen.
Yeah.
Now, if I know somebody's going to call, or if a client calls, or if there's somebody whose number is saved in my phone and they call, I will answer. But the only people I will regularly talk to are my husband and Karen. And that's because they're the two that don't give me anxiety on the phone.
Oh, if I called you, you would answer because I know you, Becky.
I would. You don't give me anxiety either, but you don't also generally call me. Another thing that is part of my job that I get to do is be involved in a lot of training.
Yeah.
So I get to watch a lot of trainings from different experts so that I can see how they're doing it so that we can know how to do it. And I really enjoy that. I'm a collector of knowledge, and I just love to know how to do things.
Me too. I love to know how to do things.
Even if it's something that I'm never going to do, if somebody offers to teach me how to do something, I'm going to do it. You know what I'm doing this week? I'm making candles. I'm going to make candles this week.
Oh, that's so fun. I love to do anything crafty, anything fun. Even if I'm terrible at it, I just think it's fun to try it.
Yeah, I'm raising money for my mission trip. So I literally just bought one of those kits where you can make 10 candles, and I'm going to try it out and try to sell them for my mission trip. They come with the fragrances and the dyes. And if they look good enough to sell, I'm going to sell them to try to raise money for the mission trip so that people don't feel like they're just donating and not getting anything in return. So I can offer something.
I think that's really cool. If I was there, I would totally help you with that just because it'd be fun. Like I'm living vicariously through a friend right now who's just actually got a patent on a quilt process. And it's so much fun just to see what she's doing. And I have one that I'm working on, and creative outlet's a good thing.
Part of what we do for our jobs creatively involves taking really good phone pictures.
Yeah.
So I posted on my Facebook the other day that I would be willing to do portrait sessions, obviously not as a professional, but I do feel like my portraits are pretty good with the phone, to raise money for this trip.
Yeah.
And one of my friends who actually does photography reached out to me and said that she would set up a day this summer and take appointments all day and donate it towards my trip. Instead of just me taking pictures with my phone, people are going to be able to get actual professional pictures and a big discount, and it go towards my trip. So I thought that was really sweet for her.
That's amazing. There are a lot of nice people in the world, and what a big heart she has to do that. You have an iPhone, right?
Yes.
I don't know what my friend uses, but she did my kids' senior pictures with her iPhone, and she edited them in Photoshop and made them look even prettier. It's amazing what you can do with an iPhone. And if you just know how to take pictures, and you do, so that's amazing. It's a good idea.
The kid that is the nanny that we were talking about earlier, I did her senior pictures with an iPhone, and I have a really, really nice camera, but I used portrait mode on my iPhone because those pictures came out better than the pictures that I took with my really, really nice real camera.
I've done the same. I have a nice camera too, and I've gotten to where I just defer back to that iPhone. It's just easy, and the quality is amazing.
I can remember my very first digital camera. It was so cutting edge, and you didn't have to get film, and it was going to be like the wave of the future. That thing was 2 megapixels.
Right? And we thought we were hot stuff.
Those pictures are the size of a postage stamp. If you blow them up any bigger, they're just pixelated. And I think now I don't know how many megapixels my phone camera is, but it is professional, like 35 millimeter quality or better. It's amazing to me that I can fit that in my pocket. So now, used to, if you were going to be somewhere where you might meet a famous person or something, and you wanted a really good picture, you had to have a camera with you. Now you whip out your phone and you can document anything.
Right?
If you see something crazy happening, take that phone out, make a video, get the evidence for the police, whatever you need.
And me, I'm just in the backyard filming dumb videos of my dog jumping, trying to eat bubbles.
I spend a lot of time in downtown Columbus, so I have some pretty epic videos. None of it ended in tragedy, though, so that's good.
Thankfully. I'm trying to think what else I do. Karen's good to, oh my word. Karen says every teacher who said you've had to learn this, you won't carry a calculator around the rest of your life. She lied. Very true. And a camera and everything.
Oh, yeah. I can remember watching like the Jetsons and thinking, oh, video calls, that'll never happen.
We've had them for a long time. Oh my goodness. Crazy. I loved the Jetsons. That was fun. I used to be late and almost miss the bus because I would turn it on in the morning after my mom had already gone to work.
I used to watch Speed Racer and The Great Space Coaster in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't really watch that one, but I definitely know which one it was.
Kids today, like Great Space Coaster, what is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're lucky if they know who George Jetson is. But people with Roombas are bringing that back, naming their Roombas after the maid.
Now I'm thinking I should name my Roomba. My Roomba's broken right now, though, but I'm on one of those plans where you just rent it. So I just have to let them know and they'll send me a replacement part.
Oh, that's cool. I want one, like really bad. I got on LinkedIn today and business pages look different. Mine, I may be behind the times, but I logged in. I guess it updated. I don't know. But now when you go to the homepage, it's just a different layout. I'm sure everything's still there. It's just a different layout. And it's like, that's what I wanted to do on Tuesday was to find out what they did to my page.
Right.
So don't pull a Facebook LinkedIn. Seriously, it's like a dashboard kind of a deal. They threw in, and they're calling it a dashboard. They threw it in there, and then it's just something else to learn that we weren't expecting. But that's also a day in the life. What's new today? We're always having to figure out, okay, well, what's new today? What's changed today? So really, that should be filed in there too.
Yeah, one of the things I do every day as part of my day is read the Social Media Today newsletter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I'll skim the headlines to see if there's things in there that I really need to know about. And lots of times there are. And so each day I have to go figure out what's changing, what's new, what's the algorithm doing to us today.
I haven't read that in the last several days, and I probably should have known that this was coming with LinkedIn, but it wasn't on my radar, which is weird because I'm on LinkedIn all the time. Usually I would know what's coming, but not today.
I didn't know either. It was not on my radar as well.
It's interesting, and it might turn out to be a really good tool, but I got to digest it for a little bit.
And that's the thing. If you're going to make anything different, it needs to be something that is easier and more helpful, not worse and more complicated.
Right? It's like your own personal assistant. At the top, it says, today's action. These are the things you need to do today. I don't think I need LinkedIn to be my planner, Anyway, we'll see.
They're going to be telling you things to do that are helpful for them as well.
Like, he wants me to share verified job openings with your page followers. Okay, well, I'm not doing that. And then, unless I'm asked to do that. And then feature top content. Like, okay, not today. Move on. I just want to do what I need to do. And
you're not the boss of me, LinkedIn. Let me live my life.
And I love you, LinkedIn. But come on.
But if you start being emotionally abusive, I will not.
Don't be Facebook.
I am a grown woman. You cannot tell me what to do.
That's right.
Okay, Karen, what does your day in the life look like?
I'm a terrible example. I'm the worst example of our entire team because I am. I think my day is a little bit different because I'm our salesperson. I will tell you, I have terrible, horrible guilt if I'm not up and at 'em at a specific time every day. Like, I don't know how people are just so relaxed about, oh, I'll get to it when I get to it.
No,
I'll explain it to you later.
And today I started later and I was having just tremendous guilt about it. I'm texting Becky last night. I'm like, okay, I'm starting 30 minutes later tomorrow if you need me for it.
And I was like not even awake during those 30 minutes. So it was fine with me.
Truly, truly, I have to schedule my time or it's gone. So if I want to learn a new skill, if I want to create a training, if I have to do research, I have to schedule it or it goes away. So I know on Wednesdays I go live. So I have an hour and a half in the afternoons on Tuesdays to get those notes ready for my Wednesday lives. I have a presentation I'm doing for a client. I have to make time on my schedule to do that or it won't happen. And accountability is everything. God bless Becky. I drag her with me down this path, kicking and screaming, probably more than I should. There's a whole lot of, hey, I have to learn this, so you do too.
God forbid you get sick or something, you need a backup. So it makes sense.
Now, every single task that we have, more than one person can do it, which is such a blessing because it wasn't that long ago that the one person who did that specific thing wasn't available. You just couldn't do it. Yes, Becky is normally our pioneer. She'll go learn it first and then she'll turn around and teach it to other people. But I can't even tell you how many trainings Becky and I, because even if I'm not doing it every day, I still want to know the information so I can share it with people. So YouTube training, we went through it together. Now, am I the one that goes in and just the optimization for the YouTube channel? We have a new client? No, but I know what to look for and I know how to talk to people and I know what they need. And yeah, poor Becky gets stuck with me doing all that stuff.
That's also part of the day in the life because it changes so often. You can't like do it once for the year and be done. It's going to be every day. I was scrolling through LinkedIn because we were talking about LinkedIn and I saw a thing that said it was a guy, throwing up. It was like a cartoon, but it was like me looking at my marketing for 7 years ago. Like we've said that so many times,
Yeah.
like look back at what we did so long ago. And it was
amazing then. I found a video of myself from, I don't know, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, where I'm telling people how to do color matching and how to put quotes on a colored background. It is maybe the worst. So bad. But it's cutting edge 10 years ago. Yeah.
and it served a purpose then and it did what it was supposed to do. And now we know we have new tools.
But, I think that's a good thing if you look back and you can see an evolution in the things that you have created. That means that you're not stagnant and that you're changing with the times. If our stuff now looked exactly like our stuff then, and we're like, hey, it was great then, it's great now, it would probably not be great either.
That's so
Well,
true.
we do. How many videos do you think we have, Becky?
Oh, hundreds.
Seriously. We've been doing Wednesday lives for multiple years. I do 52 of those a year easily.
I've been here 5 years and you've done them ever since I got here. So at least that long.
And I'll look back at some of the older, oh God, so bad. They're so bad. They're so bad.
The moral of the story is if you start watching our videos, start with the recent stuff.
Don't go back. Yeah. But the more you do anything, the better it's going to be. Come on.
It's like how doctors have to do continuing education so that they still are good doctors after they graduate school and are no longer in a classroom setting all the time. We have to do continuing education so that our clients have the best, most up-to-date information.
Yep. And I'm not afraid to say, let me check on that because you have stuff like Instagram, and we'll just pick on Instagram a minute. They change every 5 minutes.
Yep.
That algorithm is the most unstable thing on the planet. So when people ask you, and for a long time, and again, we'll just use Instagram as an example, literally every couple of months, put your hashtags in the caption, put it in the comment, caption, the comment, the caption, the comment. So unless you knew up to the minute, you might be telling people the wrong thing. So happy to say, if I don't know, let me verify that or let me double check because I don't want to tell anybody something that's wrong.
Right?
It's funny because I feel like Facebook is like the high school bully that tries to be mean to everybody and tell everybody what to do. But then its cousin Instagram is like that insecure kid that tries to change to be like whoever they're around so that people will like them. And then TikTok is like the edgy, cool kid that is an enigma that is mysterious that people just want to be around
Or be like,
and then Twitter is like the nerdy kid that you just get them to do your homework for you.
Also, I stand by the fact that Dave Ramsey is the worst. You cannot escape having a credit score in 2024. You can't. So he needs to stop preaching to people that credit score is a debt score. You have to have credit. His repayment plan makes total sense to me, but you still can't escape having a credit score. I think some of that stuff that he comes out with is just dated because that's not the way it was when he had little kids.
So this week in social media, I want to talk about the Bumble ads. The Bumble Fumble, we could call it.
Oh, so bad. Yeah. So bad.
So for those that don't know, Bumble put out some of these billboards saying things like, you know full well a vow of celibacy is not the answer. And one that said, thou shalt not give up on dating and become a nun.
So tone deaf.
And as to be expected, people had some pretty strong feelings about this. USA Today posted some of the responses that people had on Twitter. One of them, Eli Morris, says, those new Bumble ads are like if Bud Light made a billboard saying, let's be real, sobriety isn't the answer.
well, it's true. That's a good comparison.
And you never know what trauma someone has experienced. They may not date right now because of personal trauma, or they may be recovering from death or divorce or abuse. Shockingly, the Catholic, nun made a statement about it. They had something to say about it too. People take vows of celibacy for different reasons, and it's none of your business what that is.
One of my favorite ones too says, I'm going to make a video on it, but Bumble doing a campaign attempting to shame celibacy/abstinence is an unserious way to tell the public y'all are nervous. It's also a very offensive way to tell your female customers that you're profiting off of their legs being open. And now it sounds harsh, but that's exactly what they're saying. Like, hey, if you don't put out, we're going to lose money. So get with it.
Everybody doesn't date to consummate. Like it's perfectly acceptable to date. I don't know a polite way to say that, but not everyone wants to just hook up. I misspoke. The nuns made the formal statement about the NFL kicker speech, not the Bumble Fumble.
So many things going on.
So many things going on. So many fiascos. Pick your favorite.
Yeah. And this is from a few weeks back, but it hasn't happened yet. So I'm still thinking about it. My favorite fiasco at the moment is I'm still waiting to watch the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight.
Oh, when is that? Is it already happened?
It's in July. And I'm also still trying to figure out the difference between Jake Paul and Logan Paul. My kids tell me there's a difference, but I'm not sure what it is. Apparently, they're two different people.
Have you seen videos of the training?
Yes.
Him training versus Mike Tyson training. Oh, it's going to be ugly. It's so ugly.
I feel like sometimes there is this misconception that the more ripped you are and in the better health that you're in, the better boxer you will be. And that's really how it goes. I mean, look at George Foreman. When he was really, really popular and winning lots of fights, he was huge, but he wasn't cut. He wasn't ripped. But he was really big and he could hit really hard and he could get hit really hard and take a punch. And I feel like the technique is a lot more important than what your abs look like. And I feel like he didn't understand that.
Well, I'm watching the video and Mike Tyson is just about knocking his sparring partner off of his feet. And the other guy is punching the bag and sitting in a chair. And did you see this video? Punches the bag and he sits in a chair. I'm like, you're a
worst job in the world. Mike Tyson's sparring partner. It must pay well. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's better pay. It better have great medical
And life insurance.
Well, life insurance. Poor guy.
Hey, he I'm sure volunteered for it. I mean,
you're going to make like $20 million to do it. I'd do it.
Does he get like a fatality bonus? One of my friend's sons genuinely believed that he would win in a fight, like with just pick a wild animal. He's like, yeah, I could totally do that. You can't. That's not correct.
We asked the question in our house the other day, what is the most dangerous animal you would agree to go 10 minutes in a steel cage with? Ooh, I pick a honey badger because they're really, really vicious, but also small enough that I feel like I could get my hands around its throat, you know?
Ooh.
Hey, wow, that is kind of
That's
dark.
rough.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
was thinking like a Great Dane because they're
Oh,
like big lovey puppy things.
I was the second you said, what are you willing to go in cage with? I was thinking a kitten. I'm not willing to be devoured by any. Thank you very much.
If you get more money based on how dangerous the animal is, I'm going to go with the one I think I can survive, but that is still really, really dangerous.
I'm gonna stay poor. We know Laura's not a risk taker.
So, social media hotline this week. Are y'all ready for it?
Ready?
Social media hotline. Okay. You want to know how to get rid of Meta AI? Ugh. Yeah, it sucks, but it's here to stay. Okay. I'm sorry. So sorry. Okay. You try to deal with that and call me back later. Okay. Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
So
I think we all feel that. Sometimes I just want to look for something, but I don't want a dissertation on it. I just want to know where I can find it on this platform.
Oh, I hate it. I went to look for a page yesterday. Very simple. Page I follow. I needed a recipe. I love Miss Annie. She's awesome. I get her newsletter. She has great recipes. I went to look for her page on Facebook, and silly me, I just typed in Miss Annie instead of Miss Annie's Home and Kitchen, and it gave me everything related to the phrase Miss Annie from the beginning of the time. And then it messaged it to me on Messenger. I'm like, oh, please stop. Please stop. Stop.
We know you're trying to be helpful, but you're like that pedantic kid that wants to tell us all the facts that we don't need.
You want to know what it's exactly like? It takes me back to Microsoft days where that stupid paperclip.
You tap on the screen.
Like, no, I don't want stupid paperclip help. Get away from me.
Same energy, yes.
Yes, Karen. Yes, I'm not gonna think of that any different now.
Thank you. Thank you. I do love an analogy.
I'm gonna be like, they need to put some little eyeballs on that little meta thing, and
It's terrible. So one thing that will help you if you are looking for a page or something and it's a page you've looked up recently, if you click on the little search bar and don't type anything in, just scroll down. Sometimes underneath that will be things that you've recently looked at and you don't even have to deal with it. But that only works for things you've recently visited.
but that is helpful sometimes.
Okay, Sippin Social Media Tea. This one is something that has been a pet peeve of mine for as long as I've been doing social media, so I thought this one would be good. 4 years in my job and 4 supervisors, 400 times explaining that Twitter does not have an edit button. Explaining that it doesn't have an edit button isn't my pet peeve. My pet peeve is that it doesn't have an edit button. You have to delete the entire post and remake the post, which you may already have some engagement on and not want to do that. Why? Why would you not have an edit option? Nobody wants to see my initial stupidity. Let me fix it.
Somebody's got a picture of it anyway if it's juicy enough.
True.
Can we just edit it? Yeah, for real.
I love going in on my other platforms and like updating people. If I'm like, hey, we're doing this today, or my kid is sick, I'll let y'all know what's wrong with him in case you've been around him this week and you might have strep throat. I can go back and I can edit and be like, update, wasn't strep throat. He just has hay fever. Let us edit. Elon, you're rich enough to put an edit feature in there. You can do it. I believe in you.
Come on. It's the only platform you can't edit. I thought LinkedIn was dragging their feet when they finally allowed scheduling.
Yes.
Come on, Twitter. Come on.
And I thought at one point they were going to add it, that they were going to add the ability to edit. And what happened to that? Wasn't that a thing? Didn't we hear that they were going to allow editing and then it just didn't happen?
I feel like periodically we see polls that say, should we not? And then it never happens.
To be fair, a lot of people set themselves on fire on Twitter, and maybe they're trying to make sure that you can't put the fire out.
Well, it's true.
You know how many people have lost their job because of a terrible tweet? Many.
Just post a show. Don't post it on social.
Oh, yes, 100%.
Hide your crazy.
If you don't want your boss or your grandma to read it, don't put it on social media.
Oh, yeah. If you'd be embarrassed, I've said that in training. If you'd be embarrassed for your boss, your grandmother, or your preacher to see it, don't do it. Do not do. Because it doesn't go away. People will stitch and screen grabs last forever. Don't do it.
It's like I tell my kids, if it's something you wouldn't want your mom to know about, it's something you shouldn't be doing at all. So if there's somebody that you don't want to know that you posted that, it's probably best just keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Or go tell that person in person.
Imagine that. We have too many keyboard warriors these days.
Yeah. Be a
Not
grown
brave
person.
enough to do it there, but they're not brave enough to say it to your face.
Oh, yeah. People get real bold when you can't see their name or their face.
That's why trolling is a thing. People are unafraid to say whatever craziness. And there are, even taking that into consideration, there are now accounts I've seen multiple on TikTok where if you say some crazy, dangerous thing, people will just start deep diving and find who you are and put up your Facebook profile, your address, your job. You can't be horrible to people and not expect any pushback.
It's like swatting, which we are going to talk about next week, because next week our subject is the dark side of social media. So we're going to talk about all of the horrible things that people use social media for. So make sure that you come back next week, because let's be real, those things are interesting to hear about.
Yeah, they really are. And there's so much going on. That's a great topic.
Thanks for listening to the Social U podcast, sponsored by Social University. We'll see you next week.